Yo, what is up? My name is Ollie Sholaton. I play Carlton Banks on Peacock's hit TV show Bel Air, and this is Young Entertainment.
So we at Young Entertainment are all about, masterclass moments and learning from actors in the field. What do you think is one technical aspect to your acting that you've learned that you'll take with you into future seasons of this show and into your next role?
So Bel Air, it's so interesting because every time, Bel Air is a reboot of the original Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and people ask all the time, like, well, what's so different? Why does this version exist? So A, it's a drama. But also B, this show is so cinematic in a lot of ways. Like the original sitcom, it was shot like a sitcom. So it's a studio audience, the cameras are pretty far in the audience. But this one, the camera our directors get so creative with the camera movements, and so sometimes you'll be doing the most intense scenes, and the camera is like right here, and with the camera being right in front of you, you have the videographer over there, the sound guy is right now, and I think I've developed really good tunnel vision because I think that is learning how to ignore the camera, and it sounds super obvious and super like, well, duh. But this show has taught me some really, really great tunnel vision and listening, even in the midst of chaos, right? Because like some of these scenes are really, really intense. They're really important, and you have to sort of block out the noise and listen to your scene partner.
Wow, that's great advice. Yeah, I think that a lot of people they break down from the nerves thinking about the camera, and once you've mastered that tunnel vision, I'm sure like it becomes a lot easier and you can just focus on the craft. That's great. You talked a little bit about, how Bel Air is a reboot of originally a sitcom. Have you heard from any of the original actors now going into your third season about anything that they like, any feedback or anything at all?
I mean, it's been really cool because this whole show has been done with the blessing of the original cast. Will
Right.
Smith is our executive producer. We've had a number of the cast sort of in, roles throughout the season. Joseph Marcel is on this season. Tatiana Ali was in last season.
That's amazing.
And so kind of through all of that, we've gotten to talk to them about their experience working on the show and how beautiful of an experience it was. And I don't know, it's crazy. Like I can hit up Will Smith at any time and be like, hey, like Uncle Will, I'm a little confused on da da da. He's like, Ollie, relax, it's fine. You know what I mean?
That's
And so
great.
yeah, like with this show, we're really standing on the shoulders of giants, and they have been so graceful in giving us their insight and their advice on how to navigate this crazy, crazy experience.
Have they had any reactions of being in this universe but taking a dramatic spin on it? Like you said, the camera angles and everything, it's totally different than how you would shoot a sitcom. Have you had any reactions from them about taking on this experience in their guest star roles?
I know Tatiana Ali said it was her first day on set, and she had a scene with Akira, who plays Ashley
Oh,
in
cool.
Bel Air, and she just had this moment of like of overwhelm where I believe she said she cried. I don't want to put words in her mouth, right? But it was just, she grew up on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. She grew up in front of America, and now Akira is doing the same thing. I think when Akira started the show, she was 13 or 14, and now no, that can't be true. I think when she started the show, she was 14 or 15, and now she's 17, right? And so, yeah, Tatiana was just saying it's crazy to see someone else about to walk in her footsteps, and that was a really emotional experience for her.
Wow, that's crazy. And I know you're also doing music now. How is it balancing, or maybe not now, but you're focusing on your music as well. How is it balancing, Bel Air and acting and the music? And how do those two artistry come together? How do they clash? How do you have to put on a different kind of mindset with all of that?
I will say in the beginning, the answer was I didn't sleep a lot because I would get off set and, I'm up at 4 or 5 because got to get set at 6. We shoot until maybe 6, 7, maybe 8. And I come back and then I get into the studio and I'm in the studio until 12, 1, and then rinse and repeat. Um, I found that that wasn't very sustainable because, I'd get very tired, I would crash.
Yeah.
Um, and so now it's about kind of finding which I always separate my artistry into eras, which is a funny thing to say. But I think that there are moments and periods of my artistry that it's like, okay, this is, I'm acting. And then this is music. And I don't really think that is in the bigger thing of like this year I'm acting this year. It's sort of even from week to week, right? Depending on what fits in my schedule. But it's really cool because I always say that in acting, I get to work through other people's feelings and emotions, but through music, I get to work through mine. And with acting, there is such a surrender because there's so many people working in this room. There's the grip, the camera operator, your other actors, the sound guy, the director, and it really is such a team effort. But in the studio, I find because I write, I produce, I record myself, it sort of is this exercise in, being both the editor and the performer and the producer and so yeah, it's just like it's different parts of being an artist that I really enjoy flexing.
I love that. You're a Renaissance man, jack of all trades. That's not a talent everybody has. That's amazing that you're able to juxtapose all of those different hats and make it work. So to switch gears a little bit, what is some advice that you would have for any young person out there that wants to get into acting? Maybe how to get an agent, how to traverse entertainment industry as it's quickly evolving today. Any kind of advice you would give to young person out there?
I would say the most important thing is accept change, right? Kind of like what you just said. The industry is going through such a shift in the type of narratives that are told, the types of stories that are told, the ways those stories are being told, and I'm always such a firm believer in the next big thing hasn't been made yet. And again, that sounds super obvious, but I think it's so important for us to remember that the next crazy, incredible idea, the next phenomenal movie, the next whatever, whatever, just it hasn't been made yet. So it could be up to you. And I would always say become best friends with the word no, because being an artist is such an exercise in rejection acceptance. And you'll be told no your entire life over and over again. But I think if you, within yourself, right, know what you have been put on this earth to do, and you know that this is the gift I want to share with the world, I think that that will take you so far and it will make you resistant to the world, both resistant and also best friends with the word no.
Awesome, great. That is some really sound advice. That's awesome. So to talk a little bit about Carlton, your character, what are some decisions about hair and makeup or costumes that have been made, and how have they evolved going into this third season?
Our costume designer, Queen Sylvia Akuchie, she is one of my favorite creatives I've ever worked with because she really approaches wardrobe and costume kind of as a character, right? So if there's two people in a scene, there's really four people in the scene because both of their costumes. And it's been this really beautiful thing because over the course of the series so far, Will and Carlton have been kind of at odds and they've sort of, they've been each other's adversaries. And so when Will first came to Bel Air, he dressed a specific type of way. He's fresh out of Philly. Carlton dressed a very specific way. And now that we're on our third season, we see them start to borrow styles from each other, right? Will is wearing clothes that not necessarily clothes that Carlton would wear, but clothes that Carlton would pick up and be like, I could wear that, but like, nah. You know what I mean? And so it's this beautiful thing where as they become closer, as they grow together as brothers, as cousins, their clothing kind of reflects that and reflects each other. So I think the aesthetic choices of Bel Air, from the wardrobe department, from the hair department, it is some of the most impressive work that I've seen on television.
That's awesome. Um, Obviously the original Carlton, he had his like signature dance move. Uh, have you been able to in the episodes I've seen, it doesn't seem like that's there, and that makes sense for the storytelling that we're doing with this piece. But do you secretly have your own Carlton that you do?
Well, I don't know if I'll ever do the Carlton. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know, right? I might not. That I think is probably the number one question I've gotten. But it's a really important balance, right? Because I think the dance in the original show served for a very specific plot and humor device, and so it needs to make sense in this world.
Right.
Um, so look, maybe perhaps there will be a Carlton dance of my own in this season. Maybe I don't know. I think y'all will just have to watch and find out.
All right, you guys tune in season 3, see what happens if you're gonna get the Magic Carlton dance. In the last season, you were seen snorting cocaine. What's kind of the movie magic behind that, and what were the mechanics behind doing it in a locker?
Well, okay, so production gave me a few options. They said from the very beginning, you do not have to snort anything. We can fake it. We can, there's camera angles. We could have a nose double for you if you would like, because that's a thing that exists, just so everyone knows.
That's
Nose double
crazy.
do exist. There's so many, mechanisms, but essentially I found the simplest option, and I think the option that helped me as the actor kind of tap into the character is to actually snort powder. So it is this substance called sorbitol, which I don't
What is it?
remember.
Sultan?
Sorbitol.
Sorbitol. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a glucose or I think I've been told it's glucose and also lactose. It's glucose and lactose together. I don't know, but it is safe. It is okay to snort, and that those are the mechanics. The thing is, though, I don't have experience with it, so the first season, I would just I would pour out the most comically huge lines, and I would snort it, and it was really bad. Until someone, and just one person in the room was like, "Ollie, what are you doing?"
Prop guy was like, I might know what to do here, or something like that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sorbitol. That sounds like something I've been given for my coffee at a bougie restaurant in LA.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. I think it's
Sugar
probably
substitute.
yeah, like a sugar substitute. It's something like that. But it works really good. And again, it gives because for me as an actor, right, it's about how can I tell this story as honestly as possible. And so having something to actually snort, it sort of it gives that kind of upper respiratory, reaction.
Ingestion. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't know. I think that's important and showing what this character is really going through.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. It's crazy how much mechanics go into that and how much thought processes just on that simple thing as an actor. But that's like the depth of being an actor, all these choices that you make, and that's amazing.
And then it's one of those things where if you're doing a scene with, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 takes,
Yeah.
well, you know, um, yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And you're like, I committed to this. Did I want to commit to this 30 times over?
Oh, that's the big, like, because also on our show, we have a lot of dinner scenes. And so the issue with dinner scenes is continuity. So if the
Mhm.
first two takes, you take a huge bite of French toast, that means every single other take, you have to take that huge bite of French toast. And the thing with the dinner scene is there's what, like 7, 8 people in the family. And so that means we need to shoot the master, we need to shoot each of our coverages, and also we're a fancy show. So they're going to take the camera and do some fun stuff with it. And so you got to take that bite of French toast every single time.
Do you have a spit bucket for right after they call
Yeah.
cut?
Yeah,
Okay,
we
good.
do. We have a spit bucket. That's the thing. Production's very nice to us. I think we all, because we're all such committed actors. So we're like, no, we're gonna, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna, but I think by the fourth take, that kind of goes out the window. We're like,
Yeah.
give me the spit bucket, please.
What do you think has been the most challenging part of being part of Bel Air overall? And how did you overcome this challenge?
In a way, a teacher of mine said to me when I was younger pursuing acting that 80% of acting isn't acting, which I thought what she was talking about was the actual job, right? Of like, yeah, it's about being a person, which is true, but also what she meant was so much of what we do is the industry.
Mhm.
It's, the overnight, essentially, me, Jabari, Simone, we all went from kids pursuing this thing to now we're on one of the biggest shows ever, right? It's probably the biggest sitcom I'm not, would I say the biggest sitcom in American history? One of. I'll go with one of the
One
biggest
of,
sitcoms.
and I
In,
don't know that we'll have another because of the way that people have so many options now, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but just like with that, there's a lot of opinions, there's a lot of public scrutiny. There's a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of social extra stuff that comes with Bel Air, and I'm so thankful for it in every single way. But I think navigating that seasons one and two was probably the biggest growth for me, right? Learning and acknowledging that, kind of like what I said earlier, I know what I have been put on this earth to do, right? I know what I want to create art. I want to move people. Everything else is noise. And this goes back to the tunnel vision thing. So I think developing that tunnel vision both on set, but also in my personal life with social media, with this, with that, has kind of been instrumental to keeping me grounded and sane.
Yeah. It sounds like it's a lot of focus, in every aspect and getting to the more that you can focus, the better you'd be. So that's amazing that you've been able to harness that. What was the first day on set like for this new season?
What was the first day? Oh my God, I don't even remember what the first day on set was like. I think it was just so exciting because we're coming off a strike.
Yeah.
And so I think the last time we'd all seen each other on set was maybe like a full year before that, which isn't normal for us.
Oh,
Our hiatuses are like 6-ish months, but I want to say it was a year and a half,
wow.
since the last time we'd seen each other on
So it was like a
set.
big reunion, sort of.
Yeah, it was like
Joy to be working.
yeah, and what's cool is like as a cast, we're all friends in real life. So like we've been seeing each other. I mean, Coco Jones was just on tour, so we all, went to her show. I was doing a musical over in New York off Broadway, so like, everyone came to see me in New York. So like we've all seen each other, but being back on set, it was like, y'all, we're back. You know what I mean? We're
Yeah,
this incredible journey that we're on. Like, let's lock back in. Let's do this.
let's
It
go.
was
Yeah,
electric. It was exciting. It was like coming back home.
that's awesome. Um, was there anything funny, or something weird that happened off camera that ended up in the final cut that wasn't in the script that you recall in any of your three seasons?
Um, uh, oh my, see that I know. Well, okay, so I haven't seen all the final cuts for season three yet, but something Jabari and I do a lot is we like to riff.
Yeah.
And as the seasons have gone on, as Carlton and Will have become closer friends, now we've just gotten more of a chance to just really, really have that, kind of like buddy on buddy. So actually, I think the line in one of our teaser trailers where I sit in the car and Jabari's like, what? So I'm Dom and you're what? His sister? Like, I
Uh,
want to say that was improv. Like, I don't know. I want to say he made that line up. And it's just like all these things where it's like, if we're ever in a scene where each other's character needs to make fun of each other, we will feed each other lines to kind of, so that's always really, it's always just a really fun, funny time. Yeah.
that's awesome. Do you think if Carlton was a real person, you'd be friends with him?
Ah, I think that if Carlton, I always think of Carlton as my little brother, right? Because I have so much love for him, but I think he has a lot of growing up to do. And so I think Carlton from season one, he and I would not be friends. I think that season three, Carlton and I think we'd have like a mentor-mentee kind of relationship. I'd be like, hey, what's up, my dude? Do better. I love you, but just like do better. What are you doing? Um, and also because Carlton gets a girlfriend this season. Uh,
Mm.
played by actually a very, very good friend of mine, Alicia Pascual Peña. And so like I'd probably give him a lot of dating advice because he needs to figure it out a little bit.
How was that shooting kind of those love interest scenes? Did it add a different dynamic to your acting and to the storytelling?
Yeah, I mean, so Alicia and I we're really, really good friends. We met on Family Feud back in 2020, either 2021 or 2022. Um,
Family Feud, like you guys were with,
so
was it Celebrity Edition or?
yeah, it was Celebrity Family Feud. It was the Saved by the Bell cast because she was on the Saved by the Bell.
Ah,
And so it was the Saved by the Bell cast versus the Bel Air cast. And, our casts met, both, our casts became friends. And so, we've known each other for a few years. And so it's always really easy doing those scenes with someone that you know and you trust.
of course.
Because then we just get to play, right? Then we just get to really, really just kind of go for it and we feel safe. I will say, okay, something funny that did happen I want to say it's episode 7 of season 3. In episode 7 of season 3, a bunch of the couples end up at the house for like a pool day, right? And it's just one of those things where secrets get revealed and we find out certain things about other people that certain pieces of other couples didn't know. And there were a number of improv lines there just because again it's so awkward that I think it's hard as the actor to not like, oh my God, please. So that episode was a lot of fun to film, and even just all of us being friends and just being homies, it's so easy to kind of go there with a scene like
Yeah. You build that chemistry and then you sort of just you more embody the character probably and then the
that.
improv comes with it, right?
Yeah.
Um, was there ever a scene that you thought would be terrible while filming, but then watch the final version was like, that came out awesome.
You know. Well, okay, so my process as an actor, I always like to front load my work. And so I do a lot of script work, I do a lot of the work, in here. This is my studio. Um so I do a lot of my work in here, so very rarely do I get to set and I'm like, I don't know how the scene is gonna go. So I do usually know how the scene is gonna go. I will say, I think what has happened is because we do a lot of takes, we do a lot of different versions, and sometimes I will get married to a take. There are scenes that I will watch that I'm like, oh my, like on the day I'm acting and the tear drops at the perfect time. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm the greatest actor of all time. Me and Denzel, we're like this. What are you talking about? And then I see the take that they picked, and I'm like, y'all picked the take without the tear.
You're like, that was my Denzel moment. Why are you taking that from me?
That was my Denzel single tear moment. But at the end of the day, and that's kind of what I mean when I say that acting really is a lot about different hats because my job as the actor isn't really to determine what take gets chosen, right? It's about what serves the general narrative. And sometimes the tear in that scene doesn't necessarily serve the narrative. Um, which is a blow to my ego. Do not get me wrong, because I'm like, I ate that tear up. But, it is what it is. Maybe I'm hoping that in 10 years there'll be like a special edition DVD with all my greatest outtakes.
Yeah, just like all of your tears, just you crying for 10 minutes.
In fact, season one, I could probably say this now. Maybe we'll see. Season one, there's this scene after Carlton. He goes over to the basketball game. He watches his parents at Will's basketball game after they missed his lacrosse game, and he goes back to the locker room. He has a panic attack, and he like trashes the locker room. It's one of the most intense scenes I've ever shot in the show, and I remember I finished it and I was like, wow, that was acting. And the teasers are coming out. I see the scene in the trailer. Oh my God, the scene is in the teaser trailer. It's in the season 1 trailer, and the scene wasn't in the episode. I think the episode was just running long, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't really need this," but that was a
That-
bummer.
That's that's television, right? They say that's the difference between theater and film, right? Is that you in theater you control your performance and In film, there's so many hands on it, and that's the beautiful collaborative aspect of film and television, right? We're almost out of time. I have some rapid fire
Oh
questions,
God, yeah.
quick answers. Okay, ready? First time ever on a set.
It was on a real professional set. It was 2019 on the set of All American. I had a co-star role.
Nice. First audition.
My first ever audition. Oh my God, my first ever audition. Actually, I think it was for it's this Netflix show. Why am I forgetting? On My Block. My first audition was for On My Block on Netflix.
Nice. First time you had to cry on cue.
First time I had to cry on cue. It was this short film I did in college. It's called Lloyd, and my character is running through a forest, and he's running from some bad people, and I had to cry on cue, and it was very frustrating, but I did a good job.
Nice. Where'd you go to college?
I went to UCLA. I studied.
Nice. Bruin.
Yeah. Oh, are you a fellow Bruin?
I'm not. I'm
Oh,
just,
okay, word. I studied musical theater at UCLA.
that's awesome. No, I'm actually a Trojan. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
First on-screen kiss, if you had one.
My first on-screen kiss, it was Lexi Underwood. I shot an episode of Cruel Summer.
Nice. Celeb you want to work with, alive or dead?
I would love to work with oh my God. Of course you asked me this question. Now all of a sudden it goes, I don't know, probably Denzel. Yeah, definitely Denzel. Denzel.
Nice. Favorite line from a film or TV show?
Oh my God. Wait, favorite line from a film or TV show. It's High School Musical. It's not a favorite line, but it's a favorite part of the song. High School Musical 2, the entirety of Bet on It.
Nice, nice. Favorite snack at craft services?
I'm so boring because I try to be fit, so bananas.
Bananas are great. Got to get that potassium in.
Yeah, it is.
A song that's pumping you up right now. Maybe it's your own music.
It is three songs on repeat. If you know me, you know I love Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. There's this Afrobeats artist named Rema, and he has a song called Marcham. And it's a fantastic song. And my recent release called Body, it's spelled Bodye. And that's just a great summer
All
anthem.
right, check it out. Body. It's on Spotify now.
Yeah, it's on Spotify, wherever you listen to music.
Everywhere you listen to music. Okay, great. And last one, first TV show or film that inspired you to become an actor?
High School Musical. Oh my God, I was an athlete growing up. Like soccer was my. I wanted to become a professional soccer player, and then I watched High School Musical, and I was like, wait a second. And then yeah, High School Musical. It is Ollie Sholaton from Peacock's hit TV show Bel Air. Thank you so much, and don't forget to subscribe to Young Entertainment.